estamos aquí en el Movistar Arena. Está a punto de comenzar el show de Keane y estamos con Jesse y Richard de Keane. Vamos a hablar de este aniversario que se viene de los 20 años de Hopes and Dreams, que ya estamos viviendo y que vamos a vivir en un par de minutos más en el Movistar Arena. How are you guys? How are you feeling before the show?
We're good.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, we've done our sound check, and it's an amazing room. So last time we played 2 nights in the smaller theatre here, and so this and the crowd there was amazing. So this is going to be fun,
and hopefully it's going to be amazing here too. Your fans in Chile actually really love you, and they receive you at the airport. I think. How was it? How did it feel to feel the love?
All of us just feel like we're just normal guys that have to, mow the grass at home and do our washing, and then when people treat us like that, it feels very strange. But it's nice. It's
Yeah, it's nice to see some familiar faces from last time, and it feels very special. Feel very lucky.
It's wonderful. Your first time in Chile was 17 years ago.
Yeah, Lollapalooza, right? It was a Lolla gig, I think.
Vive Latino. Actually.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and even back then, Rock and Pop, the radio, we were the official radio of there.
Oh, nice.
What do you remember of that first time here, of that first gig?
I do remember the gig. I remember being really tired, and then getting on stage and there being this incredible energy. So, but I have a sort of vague image in my head of what it was like. Yeah, long time ago though. Do you remember anything? Did you do that one?
I don't think I did that one. We did Lollapalooza in 2013, and that was great.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that being a really fun show. Yeah.
We're here because of the 20 years of Hopes and Fears.
Yes.
Wonderful album.
Thank you.
Iconic. And looking back in all these years, looking from today, what feelings does that record inspire in you?
I think we're very proud of it. There's enough distance now that I think that it almost feels like something. It's such a long time, but you see the connection people have with it, and that I think is why we're musicians. Really, is because we have had albums that we've connected into that we've loved, and you see that people have that with that record, and that's something that I think, especially over time, you wonder if it's going to dissipate, but it seems to be getting more and more. So it's an incredible feeling to still have people want to hear those songs, and a lot of them young people, wanting to hear them for the first time. So it's very cool.
And how does it feel to play songs that people have such a deep connection with? That I'm absolutely sure that we're gonna see a lot of people crying, getting emotional. How does that feel?
Just
to make
on stage, that would be it. Yeah, it's lovely when you you look out at the audience and you see someone crying, because it's quite easy to think it's just a big crowd of people, but actually it's lots of individual people, and they all have their own relationship with the music. And it's so often people say, your music got me through divorce, or family member dying, or some terrible thing they've dealt with, and each person in the audience has their own relationship with the music through all of Keane's career, and it's easy to undervalue how special that is, I think.
And looking at this celebration of this anniversary, you will have to look back on the album, listen to it again. Is there anything that jumped out for you? Is there anything, a song that you may have overlooked, but now you listen to, oh, that's actually great, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple that we haven't really played much. Untitled One, On a Day Like Today, and Sunshine, and Your Eyes Open. And listening back, I think, it does sound like a younger version of us somehow, which, is a funny thing to say because it's just noise, but, you can hear that it's us, as younger people, really finding our way with our first record. But I think the thing that I've taken from it is that it still sounds really good. The sounds that, we took a lot of care and effort with, the way the record sounded, and the mix by Spike Stent is incredible. So just very proud of the actual sort of bones of the record we made.
I'd add to that it feels quite timeless, that record, whereas a lot of music that you hear from that time sounds like it's from that time, you know. And I think Keane's one of the great strengths of the band is like always just operating within, you know, the parameters of whatever the people in the band are excited about, rather than trying to fit into whatever's cool or popular. And so the result is a very timeless record, I think.
It's not a record that sounds like 2004. It's a record that sounds like Keane.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the process of within the band of like putting these songs together, not in a regular concert type of way, but in a celebration of the album. What's the process like in the band from, you know, the concept of celebrating this album to going on stage and playing?
I mean, the order, Tom is very good at constructing a set list that sort of flows. Once we decided not to just play it in order or reverse order or whatever, we, which would have been a bit odd because Summer Only We Know, which is obviously a huge song for us, it was at the front. But once we decided to just mix it up with a load of other songs, Tom is very good at constructing a set that sort of has, you know, different moods. And we're going to play for quite a long time, so 2 hours or whatever. So you can't just play 2 hours of upbeat songs, and you know, it's it needs to give people a chance to breathe. So it needs to flow. So yeah, that's been a great challenge, but also a lot of fun. You know, learning to, you know, trying to drop in some interesting things for the really hardcore fans, but also enough to keep the people who, you know, at a big show, most people are not necessarily going to know every B-side or whatever. So you have to kind of throw a few bones here and, you know, a lot of big songs there.
So the set list is kind of balanced.
Yeah, it's really important to like create, like you were saying, a nice flow, so that, well, people would get bored, I think, otherwise, if it's all like that or all slow, you know. But Tom is the kind of, we've made him the setlist king, because he's very good at just knowing like when it needs to pick up and when it needs to drop down, and then we just argue with him about it a little bit after, you know, once he's done the work.
Is it the same process like making an album, like choosing the order of the song, or is it
different? No, I think it is the same process. We just had we've put together this book for Hopes and Fears that has got lyrics and sort of the history and how we got there. And one of the things in Tim's old notebooks that we found was a thing we called the OK Computer test, which is putting the track listing of OK Computer by Radiohead and then our track listing and seeing if it flowed in the same way, because we always thought that album flowed beautifully. That was a big test.
That's an incredible reference to have too.
Well, you got to aim high. And we weren't comparing ourselves. We were comparing ourselves with the best. So, you know, just trying to live up to, you know, those standards.
And does it live up to the standards?
I think we did okay. Yeah, I think we did, you know, pretty well with the track listing. Yeah, but yeah, you have got to think of it as a, you know, end to end kind of journey, really.
Well, I think everyone in the band has gone through a lot. Through breakup in the last 20 years to finding each other again. Do you think the album's lyrics or the music hit different to you now? Ooh. Or does it feel the same maybe?
That's a good question.
I think that, you know, one of the things that makes a great lyricist, songwriter is writing songs that are direct and understandable, but also like just kind of vague enough that everyone can add their own story or their own meaning to them. And that's always been one of Tim's strengths, I think. So maybe it does change over the years, but I think also you attach a song to a time in your life, and whatever you were going through at that time quite often is, you know, like you hear the song, it's like, oh, that takes me back to when such and such was happening. It's kind of one of the nice things about music, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And the stuff that happens in your life, you know, and then you hear the same song again, and maybe it's like, oh, actually that, you know. Yeah. So, but yeah, we've all lived a bit.
Because it's like a different relationship. I think the fans listen to the songs constantly, but you play them. So it's like, it's a constant in your life almost, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And still but then, as Jesse was saying, you see the different, the individuals in the crowd and the way song, a gig is a two-way street. It's not, we play music in one direction, but we get all this energy and this emotional response back, and the volume of singing and the movement and the, the reactions.
I don't know where were we. We kind of got lost in the memories of your first time here. Did listening to that trigger anything, or like you said the voice was different, but
Tom's voice is, I think, compared to Hopes and Fears, is now much stronger and richer and more powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And we all, it's like one thing that, you can tune a drum kit, you can tune a guitar, but like the singing is it's the one thing in a band that can go really badly. And we're so lucky that every night we don't ever have to think about Tom singing. Like, we never have to worry about whether he'll be able to do a good show, because he always sings really well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
but his personality is horrible.
Oh, it's true. We have to just keep him in a box, but just soundproof, because he just won't. He never stops singing. That's why it's so strong.
Well, it's a luxury. It's also, like, some bands cannot have a 20-year anniversary because the voices or the physical.
Well, some bands who can't do it are still doing a 20-year anniversary, but it's I don't know. Sometimes you get, if you can't hit the high notes, people can get the crowd to do those ones for you. Put the microphone out. It's that trick, isn't it? If you're having a rough night. But celebrating these anniversaries we were worried it would feel nostalgic, but it's felt really celebratory. So I think even if people can't hit the high notes anymore, they should drop it down a couple of keys and still go out and do it, because it's all about, like I say, it's about the crowd as much as about the band.
We wanted to finish with a fan question. Actually, we opened a box on our website, our Instagrams, and there were a lot of marriage proposals, a lot of personal concert requests that we're going to ignore. But
well, we'll accept all the marriage proposals, but we're not doing any private gigs. Sorry.
But a great question, actually, I think, is what did it feel to play with Queen back in 2010? I think it was.
God, Tom. Well, that's a Tom thing, isn't it? He played with them at the Albert Hall, didn't he? I mean, I thought he killed it. I thought he did brilliantly. But we'll have to ask him that one. I'm afraid he's not here right now. He's asleep.
My memory of it, though, is that we were like, how was it? You performed with your heroes. And he said, I was really nervous and I didn't know what to do, so I bought a really expensive leather jacket. And he'd got, it was like £1,000 or something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's a really nice jacket. And he was like, and that was it. Then I just went and did it and it was fine. But he was very he wasn't confident about it. But, it's got that big first note. I don't want it. It's a big ask for a singer to just do Freddie Mercury at his peak. And Tom he just breezes it,
Yeah.
And do you remember any landmark moment or moment where you thought we made it or something like that? An important moment that comes to mind for you in the band?
I mean, there have been so many moments. I think the first time we played at Glastonbury, we just came back from an American tour and we'd been playing in New York to 200 people, and then we came back to Glastonbury and we played on the other stage on Saturday afternoon, and the field that you play in front of has a capacity of about 20,000, and it was full, and it was just adrenaline, the whole thing. I can't remember. I feel like I remember walking on stage and then walking off stage, and the rest of it I have no memory of at all, because it was just huge. But our album had been out in the UK for a little while at that point, and people just knew the songs, and that was just, it was unbelievable. And, Glastonbury as a British musician especially is such a big deal. We were back there this year and, played on the main stage, and that, any chance to play there or at one of the big festivals in the UK is a huge deal. So, that's probably a real landmark.
And how about you and your career?
I mean, this year has been amazing because we've done so many things that are, if you're a musician from the UK, they are the goal, you know, like the main stage at Glastonbury, the O2 Arena, touring arenas in South America, we all still feel, like I said earlier on, it's like, who are these people that have come to see us, and why do they like it so much, and how do they know it? You know, it feels very, like, can feel a little bit overwhelming sometimes, but it's weird. We sort of balance between sort of feeling like, yeah, we're a really good band, we've been, you know, we play well, and feeling like, oh no, we're terrible, there are loads of other bands that should be doing this instead. So we're quite grounded about it, really, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we're old enough to take it in and enjoy it, but also to know it's not normal. You know, I know that. So what day? It's Tuesday, right? So on a week today, I will be back home in London, and I'll be going to the supermarket, and I will then pick my son up from school and cook him dinner, and, you know, do the washing. So, you know, it's not like this every day. So I don't think we take it for granted.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you guys for the interview. Good luck with the gig. We're really hoping to see you there, and thank you for doing this interview.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for your support over so many years. We literally wouldn't be here without the support of, you know, radio stations getting our music out to people. So we very much appreciate it.
Thank you.